Special thanks to the friend who requested Kaichou wa maid-sama. Hey Mal, what's the English title of this? No, it's not. My guess is that Kaichou means president, and I've been mishearing Kaguya all these years. Misaki is the esteemed student council president and secretly works at the maid cafe. My immediate assumption was that it was against school policy for students to also be working. I've seen a couple anime where that was the case, but this is specifically stated not to be the case at the end of episode 1. Instead, we are treated to a more nuanced internal conflict. See, Misaki is known for being a borderline prison guard in her school with a reputation of unfairly cracking down on male students. How did she get votes with the Miko Ino approach dialed up to 11? Not a clue. So who's Prince Charming here? His name is Usui. No, I don't have a full body image. Google image gave me chibi art, Dakimakuras, and plenty of fan art of him looking fabulous, but I could not get a full body image of him. Usui has nothing better to do than to keep an eye on Misaki and make sure she doesn't offend literally everyone. To be fair, all the girls are salivating over him except Misaki, and it's human nature to be curious about the ones who are different, even if they are man-haters. I quickly found out I was not Kaichou wa maid-sama's primary demographic. We have boys being cool, we have boys blushing, we have boys being delinquents, we have boys who can pull off cross-dressing a little too well. They put one shy boy in bunny ears cause they could, and I could hear the increased pulse of many female viewers. I don't mind the occasional attractive boys doing cute and or sexy things, so long as there's something for the rest of us. Which there was. The humor is a little hard to describe since each episode has been its own experience, but running jokes include Misaki using various martial arts on guys when angry, oftentimes with the art style changing. Also Usui just being borderline omnipresent, consistently showing up when it would embarrass Misaki the most, and credit where it's due, he comes out with some very clever methods of getting his way. Oh, he is so annoying. He constantly tells me I'm cute just to get a reaction out of me. He constantly shows up where I work because he's a pervert who likes looking at my maid outfit, and he's always saving me to make me feel indebted to him. Yeah, that's how the romance goes. Typical shoujo, typical game of get the tsundere to admit he's different from other guys. If you turn your brain off to this, the first love confession and kiss combo is going to feel like it came completely out of left field. Only when I thought back on events and looked inside Usui's head did I really start to notice Usui's almost invisible internal change, moving from mildly curious to amused to increased feelings of protectiveness before his heart took the Shikamori route by becoming invested enough to evolve into love, something I applaud. But Misaki slightly counterbalances. Yes, she's tsundere, but she kinda ran out of excuses not to admit to crushing on the boy, which is fine, more cute blushing scenes for me. Besides, I found a pinch of common ground with her. I think Maid-sama was attempting a theme of here one way, there another, yet both parts are true to self. Something that's been more relevant to me since I took up VTubing with maximum enthusiasm for role-playing, which I don't hide from my IRL Christian bros like Misaki would, but I think we can agree that it pairs about as well with my real life as her role-playing does with her school life. Great comedy and good romance. I am curious about a couple things. Of course, Kaichou wa maid-sama shows their mascot boy in an open shirt while soaking wet a time or two. We've been over the demographic. What stood out to me, though, was that it seemed to consider the idea that a male viewer may have stuck around after a while and it has female characters. Way to branch out, but wouldn't a male viewer with that sort of shallow goal have jumped ship by now? Or was that the point of Sakura being adorable? Please tell me you don't have sexy and confused with cute. Pixiv and I have had way too many fights over that already. My only real complaint is Usui himself. He's a little too, I don't want to say perfect, but marketable. I had a similar issue with Darling in the Franxx. When it looks like he's doing something wrong, there's some indisputable logic behind his actions. He can cook, juggle, play violin, and guys, he can play chess better than me. How do I know that? His opponent in that episode was someone who placed a high rank in a fancy tournament, and he has plot immunity from looking foolish unless he wants to look foolish. Don't get me wrong, he's a fun guy. However, it had often passed the point where I could no longer see him as a character but as some abstract force in Misaki's life, the general concept of most girls' dream guy given a body. This fact made me mentally spend more time on episode 2 than the writer could have ever intended. What happened was Misaki made the mistake of bending over slightly, and Usui decided he wanted to know what kind of underwear she liked to wear. She snaps at him briefly, didn't call the police, and Kaichou wa maid-sama was ready to move on, and if this was High School DxD or something similar, I wouldn't have thought twice about it. But my autistic brain needed to reconcile the idea that the character whose sole purpose is to be a girl's dream guy flipped the skirt of a girl always yelling at him. Was Kaichou wa maid-sama wanting to establish a dominant personality that a lot of girls might like? Or perhaps the series is predicting that at least a few female viewers would like to have their skirt flipped by him or otherwise have their body appreciated by him? I can only theorize.